Hello, my name is Alistair. I'm a professional software developer, and this is an introduction to C Sharp. And I'm going to assume that you know absolutely nothing. It's not to be rude, it's just that's the level I'm trying to talk to. So in the last video we talked about variables, data types, and we have created some variables and we have written out a variable to the console. Really nice basic stuff. So today we're going to talk about statements, and that's if statements and switch statements. And it sounds weird, but uh, we will get into a situation where we want our software to do a certain thing if a certain condition is met, and there are many ways to do that. So let's start with creating a bowl. And as we discussed in our previous episode, in the previous video, a bowl can be true or it can be false. So really simple. And I'm going to call this condition. And we're going to set it to false. So now we have declared a Boolean variable, given it a name, and set it to a value of false. So now we're going to do an if statement. And it starts with if, parentheses, brackets. Now, within the parentheses, we need to do our evaluation. So we can say if condition is false. Nice, right? We will write in the console condition is false. And let's try to run that. Condition is false. Perfect. Now we can change condition to be true. Now condition has the value of true. And if in our if, we say if condition is false, write out condition is false. And let's try to run it. And now it's missing. It's gone. And that's because it doesn't meet the condition. Now we can add something called else. So now we're actually doing some coding. So what we will do now is to say if condition is false, we will write condition is false, else we will write condition is true. Let's try to run that. Condition is true. Condition is true. So let's look at what we're doing here. If condition is false has been written out into the console, else we're going to write condition is true. Pretty straightforward. Now, there are many ways we can do these evaluations. We can try to do it with an integer instead. So we can say int my int, and let's set it to be equal to 5. And let's play around with this, expand it a little bit. So let's say if my int is equal to 5. Oh, this is wrong. This is me setting the int to be 5. If we want to evaluate if it's equal to a number, it's 2 equals. So equal. So if my int is equal 5, in the console we will write number is bigger than, nope, number is 5. Else we'll write number is not 5. Let's try to run this. So the number is 5. Let's go and change it. Let's try to change it to 4. And we run it again. Number is not 5. Really simple stuff. But now we are actually doing something with our variable. We're using it to evaluate and then perform an action, in this case writing to the console. It seems really simple right now, but we are going to tie everything together and it's going to make sense. Now, we have if and we have else, but we also have something called else if. That also takes a parentheses and brackets. So here we can say if my int is bigger than 5, we can write number is bigger than 5. So if it's 5, we're going to write number is 5. If it's bigger than 5, we're going to write that it's bigger than 5. And else we're going to write it's... Now let's just try and run this, and then I will explain later. So what is happening here is because this condition is met, it just stops here. So let's change this around. Let's say if the number is smaller than 5, we're going to write the number is smaller than 5. So now we have int, my int, who is the current value is 4, and we're looking. We're saying if my int is smaller than 5, we're going to write out number is smaller than 5. If it's bigger than 5, we're going to write out it's bigger than 5. And else it's safe to assume that it's 5. So let's try and run that. So right now the number is smaller than 5. Let's make it into 6 and run it again. Number is bigger than 5. And if we set it into 5, the number is 5. Now we are going to do more complex stuff with this, but for now this is an if-else statement syntax, and you can add as many else if you want. You can also say if my int is 5 and we want to evaluate if our condition is true as well. So we can say and my condition. No, that's not what I called it. Condition. So in the case of the number is 5 and condition is true, we're going to write out this into the console. And since condition is true and the number is 5, we get the number is 5 and the condition is true. So you can play around and do different rules with this, but the basic thing is that we do something, we evaluate something, and if it's correct, we do it. If it's not, then we do something else. So if not, then do something else. That's pretty much what we can sum it up to. So we also have something called switch. And just like the if-else statement, it takes in a parameter. and we're going to give it my int. But we're not going to do any evaluation here. We're not going to say my int bigger than or anything like that. What we are going to do is adding a bunch of cases. So we can add case 0 and we can do break. This is the syntax for it. So if the case is that my int is 0, we're going to do something here. We're going to write out int is 0 in the console. And we can add as many cases as we want for this. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. We can say int is 4, int is 3, int is 2, int is 1. And finally we can give it a default as well. So if the condition is not met, like we don't have a case that matches the parameter we send in, we can write to the console, no case found. And we can break it. And now we have a lovely switch. So what we're doing again is we're passing in the int. Let's give that a value so we'll actually hit something. And we'll set it to 3. And then our switch will find the correct case and perform whatever action we ask of it. In this case, writing out int is 3. So let's try to do a debug and run the program. So what I've done now is I've added a breakpoint. And using F10, I can step through. So as you can see, we start here with the switch, and it's going to jump straight into case 3 with the right line int is 3, because my int is 3 and we asked for a case that said 3. So this is where it's going to hit, and then it's going to break. And if we look in the console, it has written out int is 3. So that's all good. Dandy, our switch is working. And we can just stop our program. So we can evaluate on a number of things. We can also do it with a string and have use a string value to evaluate what we're supposed to do here. So we can go string my string and set it to be equal to hello. And I'll just remove the breakpoint. Let's see, my string. And now this is going to complain because it expects a string value. So we can go hello and goodbye. And let's say that if we get hello in, we're going to reply with hello. And if we get goodbye in, we're going to say bye bye. And I'm going to start it with a breakpoint. And as soon as we start the application, we're going to go back into our code. Now, Visual Studio gives you a number of options to evaluate your stuff while going. And in this case, I can see that my string has a value of hello. And we're passing my string to the switch. So let's press F10 and see what happens. Oh, it jumps to hello and should write hello in the console. Fantastic. Let's just keep it going and see what happened in the console. It said hello. And let's just for fun write goodbye as well. And let's run it. And it says bye bye. So our switch is working just perfectly. Cool. So yeah, that's it for now. In the next video, we're going to be looking into loops and all that good stuff. So, hey, you have that to look forward to.